Here's the kid, Jarrod Washburn, 23 years young, out of Webster, Wisconsin, population 623. He'll watch in the dugout now as the Angels dig in offensively. And Washburn watching Darren Erstad, who is just one state over from North Dakota. Both of them 23, although Darren will be turning 24 on June 4th. And Erstad takes a quick 2 strikes from Chris Haney. It's the left-hander Chris Haney against Darren Erstad, Dave Hollins, Jim Edmonds, and if anybody gets on, Tim Salmon in this first inning. Darren with 72 hits this year. And he smacks that one down the right field side, but foul, and the count will stay 0-2.
Chris Haney returns to the Royals rotation for the first time since May 8th as he makes his 14th appearance and 8th start of the season. Haney's been ineffective in each of his last 4 starts, losing 3 times and a no decision, leading to his expulsion from the starting rotation. 22 earned runs in his last 16 and a third innings as a starter.
Well, he dropped down sidearm to strike out Darren Erstad. And let's check out the Angels lineup that was sent to home plate by skipper Terry Collins. He will lead things off with Darren Erstad. Batting second is Dave Hollins, the third baseman. Hitting third, the center fielder Jim Edmonds. Tim Salmon will be cleaning things up. Then it's the big daddy Cecil Fielder. Phil Nevin is hitting 6th, the catcher. Batting 7th, Garrett Anderson in right field. Hitting 8th, Justin Bachman, and batting 9th, Gary DiSarcina. Haney delivers to Dave Hollins, and it is low and inside, ball 1. You were talking about Chris Haney's last start and loss. He was really hammered, and right-handers like Dave Hollins have gotten to him this year. Haney throws and finds a strike zone, 1-1. He was hammered for 6 runs on 8 hits in just 2 innings in a 14-3 loss to the Boston Red Sox here at Kauffman Stadium on May 8th. It was his 3rd straight setback. There's a breaking ball that misses away, and it's 2-1. Look at that, Jerry.
That tells the story, doesn't it? You can understand why he was sent to the bullpen. But the Royals need somebody who can give them some innings. They got a lot of young pitchers, and they got Haney, and Haney's the best of what they've got. His problems really began last year when he had a fractured ankle that occurred while shagging balls in the outfield in Toronto. He was on the disabled list, lost all of spring training, had to come back with a couple of starts in the minor leagues, but never regained any kind of form as he pitched only 8 games in the big leagues last year. This year he went through spring training and noticed that his muscles just haven't responded to the training that he had in the offseason, so he's lacking some arm strength, and that could be the root of his problems.
Only 8 starts last year, 24+ innings, and there's the curveball that's lifted in the air, short center field. Shane Halter, the shortstop, will take care of Dave Hollins for the 2nd out. Let's check out the Kansas City defense. It is anything but stellar this year. Dean Palmer has 13 errors at third base. Shane Halter with 5 at short. Jose Offerman 7 at second base. Jeff King with 4 at first base. Conine, Damon, and Dye are in the outfield, and Sal Fasano is very good defensively, catching Chris Haney. And there's Dean Palmer. Almost got his 14th error yesterday, but Phil Nevin was given a base hit. And now Jim Edmonds going after the first pitch, swinging and missing, strike 1. Jim was honest before the ball game, saying, hey, you feature me, you do an interview, and I go 0 for 5. You're a jinx. And I said, Jim, but it was great TV. You return to the place of your catch. And he goes, it's all about ratings, isn't it? And I said, yes, it is, and wins too. So give us a win tonight. He snapped his 11-game hit streak on KCAL 9 last night.
No, the good luck charm that comes with the interview on KCAL 9, it's a time release capsule.
There you go. And it releases tonight, and he's just thankful that the Angels were victorious 6-3. At 0 for 5, broke that 11-game hit streak. Still, in his last 12, he's hitting better than 400, and he wraps that one to center field, and a base hit. So, Jim, we didn't feature you tonight, and you're 1 for 1.
How about keeping his hands back on that ball? That pitch was a curveball. It just hung in the strike zone. Edmonds was late in going after this pitch. Notice he kind of gives it a second shot and drives this ball into center field. It was up. Edmonds, a good high ball hitter, drops it into center for a 2-out single.
And after Jim had talked about his lowlights on KCAL 9 yesterday, we are informed by Mitch Reinhardt, our graphics president, that the Angels are 8-3 on KCAL this year. That's 5 games over 500. That's first place, Jerry.
in every division but the East, that'll get us the wild card.
There you go. Hey, but the Yankees started out, what was it, 1-4?
That's right.
Well, right behind that bar is Terry Collins. He's hiding from us. Terry very excited about watching Washburn. And yes, he did get together with Jarrod before the ball game and just reminded him, remember what got you to the big leagues. Don't change a thing. He said that is the biggest mistake that young pitchers make, feeling they have to do more in the major leagues. If you've got a good sinker, throw your sinker. If you've got a good changeup, throw it, just like you got guys out in the minor leagues.
You have to view it as a position of power because there's probably nobody on the Royals team that's ever seen him pitch before. So at least the first time through, you have the advantage, and that could be a real confidence builder.
Pitch by Haney, and Salmon takes that changeup. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Tim with a great game last night. He was on base 3 times, a single and a booming home run to 420 feet to left field. And here in Kansas City, a warm evening. 84 degrees, humidity near 83%. That will help the ball carry more. And that pitch misses low and away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. It almost seems like the hotter the weather, it's almost like the oil for the Tin Man. Loosens up Salmon, really lets him let those arms fly, and he cracks out a lot of home runs in June, July, and August. Oil cans.
You've had a pretty good 2 days here, haven't you?
Look at that. June, September. Ask and you shall receive. Salmon chops it foul. The count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes.
I think we were asking an email not too long ago, why is it that Tim Salmon never seems to get it selected to an all-star team? Well, I think that graphic tells the story. Because of his numbers in April and May, he's not among the league leaders. So managers are a bit reluctant to do that.
And there's the email address, www.kcalsports.com. And this year, Tim had plenty of work in the spring to try and get off to the hot start. But unfortunately, because of the injury, it slowed him down. Still, he was on the disabled list like 15, 16, 17 games and still has 11 home runs. The greatest player in the major leagues who has not made the all-star team. Tim takes that changeup and it misses, ball 4. So the Angels with something cooking here in the first inning. And coming to the plate, Cecil Fielder, who has 1 hit in his career against Chris Haney, and it is a home run. There's Tony Muser, got thrown out along with his third baseman Terry Pendleton last night. Remember, if you watch last night's game, Terry Pendleton never left the dugout, remained there for like 3 innings. And we kept on saying we're not sure if he got tossed because you have to go into the clubhouse. Pendleton did not, and the umpires did not make him. Cecil fouls it off, strike 1.
I think that was Pendleton's way of saying, I want to have another word or two with you. So you're going to have to come over to me and chase me out of here. Then I'm going to let you have all you can take.
And Terry's complaint was they let Michael Jordan stag around. The referees don't throw him out of the game. I should be able to get my money's worth without being thrown out of the game. Terry and Michael, you'll find them in the same sentence often. No, he was a great player with the Atlanta Braves and just a terrific guy. And I can see Terry coaching in his future. 1991 National League Most Valuable Player. And there's a line drive up the middle. That's a base hit. They will send Jim Edmonds and he will score. And the Angels take a 1-0 lead.
That's certainly something that Terry Collins is happy to see. A 2-out single early in the ball game. It comes on a fastball. It's out over the plate. Actually, it's a pretty good pitch. One more look from the pitch. Low, away. Cecil goes out to get it. Lines it into center field. Edmonds, with 2 men out, is thinking of coming around and scoring, and he does, and the Angels have one on the board.
And Cecil has his first run driven in 9 games. So Edmonds scores, and everything happening with 2 out. Haney was getting the Angels quietly to start this game, striking out Erstad, getting Hollins on a pop-up, but then Edmonds singles, the always dangerous walk to Tim Salmon, getting Edmonds into scoring position, then the base hit by Fielder. And now Nevin takes it and says, Tim, hold up at second base. Salmon at second, Fielder at first. 1-0 Anaheim. The Angels won last night 6-3 with 3 runs in the 9th inning. Big Daddy with RBI number 28. Nevin cracks it hard to left, but Conine right there will take care of it, and Phil off the end of the bat is denied. But we've got the kid, 23-year-old left-hander Jarrod Washburn in his major league debut coming your way.
Honey, I gotta go to work.
To the men and women at Edison, protecting your service from natural disasters is more than just a job.
Don't worry, we'll save Daddy a seat.
It's a commitment that weathers hardship, hard work, and hard choices.
I'm scared.
Yeah, we got lights.
Thank you, Daddy.
Southern California Edison, the power behind peace of mind.
When Stubby gets together with his pals, you know it's gonna get a little outrageous.
Man, what fun, but now there's nothing to eat.
Did somebody say McDonald's?
Cool Mundo, let's go.
That's right, gang. Every Wednesday, get an original McDonald's hamburger for just 29 cents.
Outrageous.
And on Sundays, a classic cheeseburger for only 39 cents.
Outrageous. We'll have to stay out of trouble till the weekend.
Yeah.
29-cent hamburgers on Wednesdays and 39-cent cheeseburgers on Sundays.
Haul on down to McDonald's.
And get outrageous.
Closed captioning of Angels baseball is brought to you by
Anaheim with a 1-0 lead. A run on 2 hits in the top of the first inning. Let's check out the starting lineups that Kansas City's Tony Muser penciled in tonight. Johnny Damon will lead things off. He will be followed by the second baseman Jose Offerman. Batting third, first baseman Jeff King. In the 4th spot, it is Dean Palmer. Hitting 5th, left fielder Jeff Conine. Batting 6th, the designated hitter Shane Mack. Hitting 7th, Jermaine Dye in right field. The catcher is Sal Pisano, hitting 8th. And batting 9th, the shortstop Shane Halter.
Jarrod Washburn towing that rubber for the first time in his major league career. He has the basic 4 pitches, but he has a variation upon each. His fastballs are the 4-seam variety and a 2-seamer. The 2-seamer is his sinker. And he throws pretty hard. His first major league pitch, that's a strike.
He does have a sinking fastball, but he said in college he mainly threw the 4-seamer and the slider. And as Joe Coleman told you, his slider is a little more like the old-fashioned slider, a cut fastball that you threw so well. Good pitch. A ball, 2 strikes.
With Washburn, if he's throwing particularly hard, you'll see a lot of strikeouts. If he loses it a little bit, he uses that sinker and produces a lot of ground outs. Over his career, he's averaged about 7.5 strikeouts per 9 innings, as opposed to 3 walks per 9 innings. So that's a pretty good ratio. It used to be that a pitcher coming up through the minor leagues would, the organization would like to get him 500 innings. For Washburn, he has 489 1/3, so he's pretty much got that requirement.
Strikeout pitcher you see at Double-A Midland last year in the Texas League, and he comes inside and misses 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, Jarrod's parents are here, among 33 family members, and Fred's, including 2 grandparents, several great aunts, his college coach, his high school coach is here. Fastball low, 3-2. This is mainly a right-handed lineup against Jarrod Washburn. Offerman, the switch hitter, is next, and a ton of righties. The 3-2 is pounded foul, and he got that ball up in the zone. And Jarrod Washburn in his last start lost to San Antonio, although he went 8 2/3 innings. But he said he had flown almost the entire night and was very tired and gave up 6 earned runs in that game. Walked 2, struck out 8. Damon hits it on the ground. Gary DiSarcina. And Jarrod saying that's exactly the guy I wanted him to hit it to. This is a very special day for Jarrod Washburn, and we talked with him before the ball game about his folks coming to town from Webster, Wisconsin.
My parents are coming in. I don't know if I'll see them before the game or not, but it's their 25th wedding anniversary tomorrow, so it's a special day for them. Is for me making my debut and for their anniversary. So a lot of family coming in and friends, and hopefully just do something in the daytime to keep my mind off the game and try to keep my nerves down as calm as possible.
And if you think Jarrod Washburn is nervous, well, Mike and Dawn Washburn are out of their mind. They have been walking all around downtown Kansas City trying to get the nerves out. You can see Mom Dawn just taking the big breath, letting it out slowly. Man, are they serious parents. There's a strike. 2 balls, 1 strike. Now to Jose Offerman. This guy has been a great on-base percentage player in 1998, and he fouls it off. Right side, Bachman in foul territory makes the catch for the 2nd out. Well, the Angels defensively have been playing well. Their pitcher made 2 errors last night, Omar Olivares. But Gary DiSarcina was like a magician at short. Dave Hollins made another sterling defensive play at 3rd. Bachman has been solid at 2nd, and Fielder has not erred this year. Erstad, Edmonds, and Anderson all with speed in the outfield. And Phil Nevin, well, he not only has to be a catcher tonight, he also has to be a psychiatrist as he works with the young pitcher.
A psychiatrist, a pitching coach,
a soulmate,
a best friend. Pretty good curveball that time on the outside part of the plate.
And here's the dangerous Jeff King, who hit a home run last night, his 11th this year. He has 42 driven in, so he has been Mr. Clutch for Kansas City early this year. In the last 2 seasons, King has averaged better than 110 RBIs. He needs 1 hit for 1,000 in what has been a fine career. Former #1 pick. And that pitch is low. And this was the day of the amateur draft. And if you have not heard, the Angels selecting 18th in the 1st round and taking Seth Etherton from the University of Southern California. So last year was UCLA's Troy Gloss. Today, Seth Etherton with 2 outs. Washburn walks Jeff King. Pat Burrell was taken by the Phillies. Mark Mulder, a left-handed pitcher, by the A's. Corey Patterson by the Cubs. And the Royals went after Stanford's Jeff Austin, a 6-foot right-hander. J.D. Drew, the kid taken by the Phillies who did not sign last year. St. Louis takes him. And Seth Etherton by the Angels. Etherton, 4 years at USC, won 36 games. Bob Fontaine, who is really the Angels man responsible of the draft, he said he is a kid who has just shown continued improvement over his college career. Here's Dean Palmer. King, good speed and also a very good base runner, and Washburn throws that pitch low and outside and swung on and missed. Strike 1.
That was his changeup. That's impressive. He falls behind 1-0 and then goes to a changeup. Palmer swings right through it.
And that's the pitch that he has been developing in the minor leagues. Did not throw it in college. Jarrod said in college only a 4-seamer and only a slider. He learned the curve and the changeup. And the man who was very responsible in helping him with that pitch was Greg Minton. Runner goes. The pitch swung on and missed. The throw to second base is not in time. King is in scoring position.
Washburn, he's a tall left-hander, 6'3", 6'4". has a slow delivery to the plate. Jeff King with pretty good speed takes off. This throw to the right field side of second base, and King avoids the tag. 1, 2, 3, 4 steps before Washburn delivered that pitch. So it's a good jump by King, and he's in at second with a stolen base, his third in 3 tries.
The count to Palmer, 1-2. Jarrod throws low. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Palmer has great power. He's 7th in the American League in home runs with 13. King leads at second base. A 1-0 ball game as the Angels scoring in the top of the first. Foul back. That was the 4-seamer.
His 2-seamer tends to sink a bit, and he uses that to produce ground balls. His 4-seamer primarily is a strikeout pitch, because that's the one that seems to rise as it comes toward the plate, and he uses it on a batter when he has 2 strikes on him.
They set up inside. Washburn with the pitch. Fouled back again. Is he working in a dangerous area against Dean Palmer? Up?
I think working against Dean Palmer is always dangerous because of that power potential. You get that fastball up and out over the plate, that's really where he likes it best. But if you keep it inside right around the letters and he goes after it, there's a good chance you're going to strike him out.
He'll work inside again. He pounds him inside with the fastball, but misses. 3-2. The last Angel to win his major league debut as a starting pitcher was Jason Dixon in 1996. You might remember that game against the New York Yankees when Derek Jeter hit his first pitch for a home run. Little let up, hit to right field and deep. Garrett Anderson racing back, twisting around, and he makes the catch. A snow cone in right field. And Jarrod Washburn with his heart beating a little faster, but a handshake for Garrett Anderson when he comes to the Angels dugout.
Come on, let's go faster, faster. He's really driving us. He's killing us. I'm pulling away from you. It helps, though. I don't think I could do it on my own. I know. This is the longest I've ever stuck with a workout program. Well, they say motivation is the key. You can do it. Come on, you bunch of large fellas. I don't see any sweat.
No wonder you can never get a bike around here.
This is what you're working for.
It's like a hard crust. It's gritty. It doesn't come out.
It's sort of embarrassing to show this to strangers, but that's the way it looks.
Lime Away, professional strength. Oh, lime, calcium, and rust cleaner.
Oh, look at that. Oh, my God, look at that. It's like bubbly.
Wow. Voila.
You actually can see now that I have chrome.
It looks like a brand new faucet.
Lime Away, the easy way. Available at Ralph's.
I know a place.
Americans know how to shop, and we love a bargain. No wonder there's a Chevy Malibu in nearly every neighborhood. It has standard air conditioning, automatic, even ABS brakes, things you won't find standard on Camry or Accord. And Malibu has enough room for all your garage sale treasures. Chevy Malibu, the car you knew America could build.
Right now, you can get 0.9% APR financing on Chevy Malibu, the car you knew America could build.
Anaheim Angels baseball on KCAL 9 is brought to you by Chevrolet Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. Steve Physiak, Jerry Royce with you, and the kick with a shutout first inning. And he is smiling, talking with pitching coach Marcel Latzman. I'm sure his heart beating a little faster when Dean Palmer hit that drive to right field. It was run down by Garrett Anderson. And GA will lead things off. Top of the second inning, Anderson, boy, they showed him the supreme respect last night as they intentionally passed the Angels outfielder 2 times. He's got 5 home runs. His last was Saturday in the 5th inning off Brad Radke. And Radke was exceptional that night, handing the Angels their only loss in that 3-game series as the Halos came back from a 5-0 deficit on Sunday to win, and then beat the Royals last night 6-3. Haney goes away. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
You know, we covered Haney in one game last year on one of our televised games. I don't remember him short-arming the ball as much as we've seen him do tonight. Remember that? It seemed to get more on the top as you delivered a pitch. Tonight it's more of a short arm, isn't it?
You're absolutely right. And Jerry, you just wonder, because of all of the injuries that he had last year, if he has changed his thought process. Because you talked about his ankle injury when he broke his ankle. Because of coming back from that, he developed forearm and elbow problems.
And he says he's had a great decrease in arm strength, so he's doing a lot of work trying to build it up to where it was before he got hurt.
Well, he drops sidearm again and strikes out Anderson, much like he did Erstad to start the game.
Haney with 2 strikes, likes to drop down, sometimes with a fastball, this time with a curve. Anderson hadn't seen this before, so he doesn't get a real good rip at it and goes down swinging. The second strikeout registered tonight by Chris Haney.
And now the rookie Justin Bachman. Bachman and Jarrod Washburn played together at Vancouver with the Canadians. Bachman was the second baseman. Jarrod, of course, the starting pitcher. And this is his 14th game in the major leagues. And there's a base hit to right field by Justin. This kid is playing well. And the ball scoots away, but no advance by Justin as it's backed up by Chris Haney.
Sal Fasano, the catcher, was running down the first base line right behind Bachman. And this is a play for the right fielder when he sees that catcher going down that line, knowing that a guy's got some speed or likes to take a big turn. He'll follow him down, and they'll backdoor him. That means instead of throwing to second, he'll make a quick throw to first. And look where Fasano was. Could have been a close play had he was able to come up with that ball.
And Justin really with a wise base running decision as he came around. He never took his eye off the right fielder. As soon as he saw it die up, he scooted back towards the bag very quickly. So a 1-out single by Justin Bachman. And here's a guy with excellent speed, but Haney very quick to the plate, and now Desar rips it in the alley deep to left field, and that's going to fall, and it's a ground rule double. It skips as Bachman would have scored easily from first base. Instead, a ground rule double takes an RBI away from the Angels' hottest hitter.
It was DiSarcina last night in the 3rd inning that drove a shot off the wall on a curveball by Rosario. This time it's a fastball. He drills this ball pretty much in the same direction. 2 outfielders chasing it. It takes a hop on the warning track, goes over the fence, so Angels have runners on 2nd and 3rd on consecutive hits by their 8th and 9th hitter.
And now they need a clutch at bat from Darren Erstad. The infield is backing up, so if Erstad can pull the ball to the right side, he can get Bachman home easily from 3rd base. But Haney struck him out in that 1st inning. And he tries to go sidearm with the curveball and throws it right on the outside corner. 31 extra base hits this year. Among them, 12 home runs. That leads the club. He also leads the team with 38 runs driven in, and he's got 2 on base. And that's smacked to the shortstop. This should score Bachman. It will, and Erstad is out at first base, but he drives in his 39th run this year as the Angels take a 2-0 lead.
Erstad hustling down the line on this broken ground ball to shortstop. Nearly beats it out, but Bachman on the front end of the play comes in from 3rd and puts the Angels' 2nd run across for the evening.
So Erstad does his job.
That's right. He made that ground ball count. Leo Droscher used to say, and I know I've said this before, that you give me 1 fly ball or 1 ground ball during the course of a game, over a whole season, I'll be 10 games smarter.
Skippers love that. Now Dave Hollins, and he hits it to right field and deep, and backing up is Jermaine Dye at the warning track making the catch. Hollins is out, but the Angels with a big RBI in the 2nd inning from Darren Erstad take a 2-0 lead on Chris Haney.
Chihuahua, you know those tacos you like so much? That stuff ain't fresh. It comes from plastic boiling bags.
Ay, qué loco.
You want crazy? Then check out the new Crazy Chicken Sandwich at El Pollo Loco. Skinless chicken breast, fresh ingredients, and our Southwest sauce wrapped in Mexican flatbread, over half a pound. Just $2.49. I know what you mean.
Chevy Astro, with the most cargo room and the most towing power of any midsize van. And now, with 0.9 APR financing, it's easy to own. The 98 Chevy Astro. Grab the family and test drive one today. Because with all this space, all this power, and an offer like this, now is a great time to drive away in one of your own. Check out this great offer on the Chevy Astro today. Only at your local Chevy dealer.
Being on SportsCenter does take its toll.
For Kenny Mayne, I'm Dan Patrick. Good night.
Once we finish a show, we do it all over again for the overseas markets.
Buenas noches, amigos. Me llamo Kenny Mayne.
Same highlights, same anchors, different dialects.
Dos Vidania. Menu Zabut, Boris Patrick. Vut, Kenny Mainski.
To touch people all over the world, that's special.
And welcome back to Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City, where the Angels have taken a 2-0 lead. Steve Physiok and Jerry Royce, and the two most nervous adults at Kauffman Stadium, Mike and Dawn Washburn, the mom and dad of Jarrod Washburn. How are you feeling right now?
Pretty nervous. Probably not quite as nervous as the first inning, but
well, I'm going to ask you, Mike. Jarrod told me yesterday that his father helped him pitch when he was young. I want you to be able to evaluate how he's throwing right now. Is he relaxed?
Yeah, I just wish he'd get the first pitch for a strike.
Are you relaxed? Maybe that's a better question.
No, I'm not real relaxed. I'm not really relaxed. But Jerry was a pitcher.
Oh, I was a pitcher,
you know,
yeah.
You got to throw a strike first pitch, you know, and I just wished he'd do that. So I think he's got good enough stuff.
Well, that ball well struck to right center field, but Jim Edmonds will run it down. Well, what was it like when Jarrod was a young boy? Because he said, my dad taught me how to pitch and taught me how to play baseball.
Well, I don't know. He's probably giving me more credit than I'm due, because I probably didn't teach him a lot, but I helped him a lot and I encouraged him a lot. Whenever he wanted to go out and play, which was constant. He was like, seems like once he was old enough to pick up a ball, that's all he wanted to do. We live on a lake. We'd go to ball practice. Fortunately, I was working the second shift, so like Little League, we'd practice every day from like 10 to noon. And then he'd come home and go down to the lake, and he'd beat wooden bats to death with rocks.
And Dave Hollins throws it away, and Jermaine Dye will go to second base. There's the throw. It is not in time. So Kansas City with a base runner with one out in the second inning. And for Dave Hollins, that will be his 7th error this year.
Ground ball is top. Remember, Washburn has that sinker, as mom and dad would probably tell me. Hollins throws on the run. It's past Cecil. But watch what Justin Bachman does. He backs up the play one more time to throw. It gets past fielder, but Justin Bachman is there to pick it up, and it's going to make a close play at second base. Bachman hesitates just a bit, and that's the difference between safe and out in that play at second.
So Hollins with the error, Shane Mack at second base, and now to the plate is Jermaine Dye. The lefty Washburn brings it and throws low.
Was Jarrod always a pitcher, or did he play all positions as a little leaguer?
As a little leaguer and through high school, he played everything that they'd let a left-hander play. He always wanted to play short.
Oh, he wanted to play short. When did he finally become a pitcher for certain?
College.
In college?
In college.
Yeah, there becomes that point of realization in a pitcher's life when he wants to be a first baseman or an outfielder, that he can throw a curveball better than he can hit one.
Right. Well, he could hit.
That's great.
He holds all the school records with home runs and RBIs.
Well, they got interleague play coming up. There's a chance he's going to get a start somehow.
Could be Colorado this weekend at Edison International Field. The pitch to Dye.
Right.
But what was the competition like for a young player of Jarrod's stature?
Well, everybody would think that it was pretty poor, actually. but in our league, the team that beat us out of this sectional championship game won the state tournament, which was a team that wasn't much bigger than us. And one of the pitchers from the team there that Jarrod pitched against went on to play for the Pirates. And he didn't last long. For what reason, I don't know. But he was...
That ball is well struck towards left center field, and it will skip up against the wall. Edmonds takes care of it. Coming in to score is Shane Mack in a double for Jermaine Dye. So these are the anxious times for parents. I mean, he throws a shutout first inning and really should have had out number 2 in the ground ball to third. But as you know, it's all in the game.
Right. That's right. It's all in the game.
Let's take a look at this pitch. Right over the heart of the plate. Dye gets all of it, drills it beyond Edmonds. You can see that he's looking for the carom off the wall. This ball hits the top of the wall, so Jimmy has to turn on the jets, get it, and get it back into the infield. Dye with pretty good speed stops at second. So the Royals answer the Angels run with one of their own in the second.
So Jarrod now will face Sal Fasano. He brings the fastball, strike 1.
That's better.
Well, you can say that. No, go ahead.
Say that's better. You like that strike 1, don't you?
Yes, I do. I think that's critical for any pitcher, no matter who you are. It's the first strike means an awful lot, I think.
Well, strike 2. So he's in front of the count. 0-2 to Sal Fasano. And Mike, he told me he threw a 4-seam fastball and a slider in college. That was it. When did he start developing the changeup and the curve?
Oh, not till he got into the minors, and probably not till he went to Lake Elsinore, because you know, he was just basically a power pitcher, and in college that was all he needed to survive.
And there is his first major league strikeout with mom and dad in the booth. What'd you think?
That was great. That was great.
And he goes right up the ladder to get it, doesn't he, Steve? Watch this. A couple of pitches down. He gets that ball just above the letters. Fasano can't do anything with it. Now, you look calm and collected right now. Did you used to be this way when you watched his games when he was a kid?
It tried to be. You know, him and his brother both played. His brother was very good, too, and they were like sophomore and senior in high school, freshman and junior. They both played from the time they were freshmen on, and we tried to be as humble as possible. In a small town, you can probably realize there weren't many kids that were any better than them, so we didn't want to be the braggart.
Did you walk around, or did you just sit there and watch the game?
She walked around a lot.
Mom walked around, yeah. Well, Steve and I both have sons ourselves. We just can't sit there and watch the game. We got to be constantly in motion.
It's hard to sit still.
You can't.
No, it's tough.
But Jarrod was telling me that Rusty Helen and Tom Lechner, his high school and college coaches, are here.
They're both here. They're down watching the game, and they're as excited as we are, maybe more so, you know.
I don't think so.
Well,
I can tell by Mom that the nerves are a little rattled here, and she'd love to see son get out of this jam here in the second inning. The Angels leading 2-1. And Shane Halter, a kid from the University of Texas, at the plate. His coaches in high school and college, how responsible were they to his improvement?
Oh, they were both great guys. They both realized he had a talent that not a lot of kids had, and they encouraged him to work hard, you know, and they just kept telling him that if he kept working hard, regardless of being from up in the woods, that he could go as far as he wanted to go. And I guess today shows that he can, and I think that's a good thing for all young kids to realize, no matter where you're from. If you have the talent and you work hard, people can find you nowadays.
Well, how about that?
Yes.
And Mike Washburn with a clap of the hands and says yes as his son strikes out Fasano and Shane Halter to end the second inning. Thanks, Mike and Don, for coming in.
I know a place.
Americans know how to shop, and we love a bargain. No wonder there's a Chevy Malibu in nearly every neighborhood. It has standard air conditioning, automatic, even ABS brakes. Things you won't find standard on Camry or Accord. And Malibu has enough room for all your garage sale treasures. Chevy Malibu, the car you knew America could build.
Right now, you can get 0.9% APR financing on Chevy Malibu, the car you knew America could build.
What's that? I think I hear something. Go to scanner 2. Try the image. Go 28 degrees north of the city. Let's get a visual.
It's not the end of the world. It's just a juicy classic bacon double from Carl's Jr. If it doesn't get all over the place, it doesn't belong in your face.
Hi, Tom Bodette. Well, this is what I looked like back when I was new. And this is a new room at Motel 6. When I was new, a new room at Motel 6. Cute, huh? I'm Tom Bodette, and we'll leave the light on for you. To show off their renovated rooms, Motel 6 is doing its first big special effects commercial ever. Here goes. Cool. I'm Tom Bodette, and we'll leave the light on for you.
Presenting Hilton Honors Worldwide. Now Honors members can earn both points and airline miles at more than 400 Hiltons around the world. The best hotel reward program just got better. Hilton Honors Worldwide.
To the third inning we go at Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City. The Angels leading by a run as Jarrod Washburn has thrown 2 innings in his major league debut and given up 1 unearned run. Chris Haney will now deal with Jim Edmonds, Tim Salmon, and Cecil Fielder. 3 guys who hurt him in the first inning. Edmonds with a single, Salmon with a walk, Fielder with an RBI single up the middle. And there's a fastball that misses high. 1 ball, 1 strike to Jim Edmonds. That ball's hit on the ground at the second baseman, Jose Offerman. He gobbles it up and throws out Jim for the first out of the third. It was really neat talking to the parents because, Jerry, you and I have sons who are young players, and the anxious moments. I know you played 22 seasons. I'll bet you weren't as nervous in your major league debut as you are when you watch Jason play.
You're right. You're right. Well, at least back then, I could do something about it because I was part of the action. But when you're a viewer, you're kind of helpless because you're there, and all you can do is clench your fists together and say, come on, make it happen.
And there's Jarrod Washburn. Has to feel good about those last 2 strikeouts, Fasano and Shane Halter. And that is a memory that long will be etched. In 60 years, when Jarrod Washburn is 83, if you walked him up to him on the street and says, who was your first strikeout, Jarrod, he will tell you, Sal Fasano, 2nd inning, Kansas City. Jerry, who was your first strikeout against Montreal?
I don't remember.
And I stumped the master.
I don't recall, but I remember the first walk. It was the Rusty Staub, and I walked him before I struck out somebody.
Isn't that funny? You remember the walk?
Yeah.
Because you were so mad. That's the perfectionist that you are.
That's it.
You expect to strike out people. That ball is hit hard to Dean Palmer. He picks it up on the first hop and then throws it away. So Salmon will reach.
For Palmer, that's error number 14 on the season. Makes a nice play on this ball as it takes that short hop, has plenty of time to get his feet set. He took a couple of crow hops, but he throws it in the dirt. It handcuffs Jeff King, and Salmon's safe with a 1-out error on Dean Palmer.
That is his 14th error at third base this year. Also 14 for Seattle's Russ Davis. That's most in the American League by any player at any position. Now Big Daddy comes to the plate. Cecil Fielder only hitting 150 his last 2 weeks, but his first time up, single to center field to drive in the Angels' first run. They scored another in the 2nd inning on the ground out by Darren Erstad that scored Justin Bachman. Good pitch by Haney. I mean, that was on the black inside corner where Cecil can't get his arms extended.
Cecil's power back in the years in the early 90s on through the middle 90s was low and in. It seems that this year a lot of pitchers have been able to get an inside strike on him just above the knees.
Just fouls it off. He's behind the count, 0-2. Up and in. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
How about that target by Fasano behind the plate? Watch how low he gets after he gives this sign and gets himself set. His fanny actually touches the ground. Good target, nice presentation on the pitch outside, but not close enough for a strike, says home plate umpire Tim Tashida. Watch how low he gets. Talk about a low target, a low presentation.
And he misses low to Cecil Fielder. Now the count full 3-2 after he had jumped ahead 0-2. He kept on going low to Cecil, and he won't bite. And Phil Nevin waiting on deck. And Nevin, his last time up, hit one far, but fly to left field. Haney with the 3-2 pitch. And Cecil takes inside, ball 4, and that is the second walk issued in this game by Chris Haney. He walked Salmon in the first inning, and that cost him because the next man up, Fielder, singled to center. Now let's see what Phil Nevin can do.
Tony Muser seems calm and collected on the outside, but you can bet he's a bit upset with his starting pitcher because he delivered a walk on 4 consecutive pitches after going 0-2.
Nevin always has been strong against left-handers, going back to his days at Cal State Fullerton. And he takes outside and low. He was the first overall pick by the Houston Astros several years ago, and Phil has turned it on. Houston Astros first-round pick out of Cal State Fullerton in 1992, and he was the Golden Spikes Award winner, hitting .402 for the Titans. Out comes Bruce Keeson, as obviously Haney maybe has something wrong with his release point. After going 0-2 with Cecil Fielder, he's thrown 5 out of the strike zone.
There'll probably be something wrong with his left eardrum too, as Bruce Keeson delivers his message. He's not at all happy with what his starting pitcher has done, but Bruce has a low-key way of approaching things. Let's try to get his starting pitcher back on track, and rather than let this inning get away from him.
And Haney, a bright kid. I mean, his father played in the major leagues, catcher Larry Haney, back in the 1960s and 70s. There's a let-up that misses outside. 2 balls and no strikes.
Larry was also a coach with Tony Muser in Milwaukee.
And now he is managing his son. Phil Nevin might be zoning and ripping if it is middle in. He lays off. It's now 3-0. You've got Garrett Anderson on deck. Do you green light here with this guy struggling with his control? Do you let Nevin go?
I do.
In there. 3-1. Was Phil just cutting the plate in half, saying middle in? I mean, that was a little bit away, but it was near the belt. Phil rips. It's 3-2. Salmon at second base, Fielder at first base. The Angels with a 1-run lead in this 3rd inning.
Now you work with Sparky a lot, so you get a pretty good idea of how a manager works, and you get a hunch. Sometimes it's merely a hunch on a manager's part. Let him rip if he gets something he can handle.
And he takes low and inside, ball 4, and the bases are loaded. So back-to-back walks to Fielder, and now Nevin have loaded him up for Garrett Anderson.
And Sparky would probably say the same thing. You have the charts, you have all the computer information, but it comes down to a hunch. Nope, it's not an extra infield out there by Kansas City. The Angels have the bases loaded and 1 man out.
But sometimes do you do it with the guys who have good plate discipline, because you're telling them, yeah, I'll let you take a hack, but you've got to know what is your pitch.
That's right.
Don't swing at the pitcher's pitch, even though it's 3-0.
If it's something you can handle in a zone where you can handle it, go for it.
Well, here's Garrett Anderson. And he smacks one, and the pitcher has it, goes home to first base, and the double play. The old Lawrence Welk double play. A 1, a 2, and a 3.
On an average day, Edison turns on the power for over 11 million people, 5,200 big businesses, 380,000 small businesses, and countless writers. Delivering that power takes the days and nights of 12,057 employees and a century of technology, service, and guts. Think that's a lot? Not when you realize this is what brings Millie's Victorian lovers together. Southern California Edison, the power behind peace of mind.
Chevy Astro, with the most cargo room and the most towing power of any midsize van. And now, with 0.9 APR financing, it's easy to own. The 98 Chevy Astro. Grab the family and test drive one today. Because with all this space, all this power, and an offer like this, now is a great time to drive away in one of your own. Check out this great offer on the Chevy Astro today. Only at your local Chevy dealer.
It's time now for our Chevrolet baseball moment. We go back to June 2nd, 1990. The Mariners' Randy Johnson facing the Detroit Tigers. The big unit would strike out 8 on the way to his first career shutout and the only no-hitter of his stellar career. Randy Johnson, tonight's baseball moment. And that is a special moment. My partner Jerry Royce celebrated a no-hitter for the Los Angeles Dodgers against San Francisco back in 1980. And we might tell you that Randy Johnson goes against Chuck Finley tomorrow in Seattle. How about that matchup? Finley and Johnson tomorrow at 7:30. Then on Thursday, in a game you can watch on KCAL 9, 7 o'clock, Ken Hill against Ken Cloud.
There is no such thing as a routine ball game when the Angels go to Seattle. Always something exciting seems to happen.
So you won't want to miss that on Thursday as the Angels try and put some distance between themselves and the Mariners. Seattle lost today to Baltimore in the 10th inning. And again, their bullpen failing. After they had taken the lead in the 9th and again in the 10th, bullpen couldn't hold on. So Johnny Damon will lead things off in this 4th inning. Excuse me, the bottom of the 3rd inning. Damon fouls it off. Angels had a great opportunity to score some runs in the top of this inning, loading the bases with just 1 out. But Garrett Anderson bounced back to the pitcher for the inning-ending double play. There's a chopper that Washburn spears, throws to first, 1 out. Jerry, is his motion a little deceptive for left-handers to pick up?
A bit herky-jerky. I imagine it's tough for anybody to pick up, particularly that first time through. Let's look at the checkpoints. Good balance as he comes to the top. Good delivery. Goes a little bit on his heels, so he's maybe striding just a bit too much, but his reactions were pretty good because he was able to recover and catch that ground ball that was in the direction of second base.
Now Jose Offerman. And Washburn brings strike 1. Jose showing bunt and pulling it back and taking the strike. In the amateur baseball draft today, Philadelphia taking Pat Burrell, the 3rd baseman from Miami, in the 1st round. 2nd pick in the 1st round, Oakland took Mark Mulder, the left-handed pitcher from Michigan State. And in the 1st round, 18th pick, the Angels took Seth Etherton from the University of Southern California. Terry Collins and Larry Boa excited about the pitching that the Angels picked up early. As the first 3 rounds, the Angels went after pitchers. Seth Etherton from the University of Southern California. 2nd round, they got a right-hander out of Northwestern State University, Dennis Emanuel, and also a right-hander from Northgate High School in Walnut Creek, California, in the 3rd round, Paul French. Ball fouled off. Now it stays 1 ball, 2 strikes. went strong from the Pac-10 as well. 4th round, Brian Oliver, the shortstop out of Cal Berkeley. And also Jason Hill, a catcher from Cal Berkeley. Gregory Jacobs, the left-hander for Cal State Fullerton, was taken by the Angels in the 13th round, and Edward Hurtado in the 20th round out of the University of California, Riverside. So a lot of local guys. Washburn throwing, just missing away. Now the count's full 3-2 after Jarrod had Offerman 1-2. But this is the improvement of Jose Offerman from when he was a rookie with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Great plate discipline now. And he takes high and tight, ball 4. And this will be dangerous, Jerry, because now Washburn has to deal with a real base stealer and divide his concentration between home plate and the dangerous Jeff King and Jose Offerman at first base.
Be interesting to see what Kansas City does. Are they going to test the pickoff move? Will they test the throwing arm of Nevin? They've done it once. It was Jeff King who stole that base earlier in this ballgame. That was back in the 1st inning.
Offerman bluffs the move on the pitch home, and King swings and misses, strike 1. Offerman 10 steals this year after only having 9 all last season. He's a guy who could lead off for Kansas City, but is not because of Johnny Damon. Washburn with a slide step, and he dots the outside corner at the knees, and out comes Phil Nevin as the count is 0-2. What might this conversation be about with Phil?
Probably didn't know about the slide step. Remember, this is the first time that a lot of the Angel players have seen Washburn play. Nevin, new to the organization, probably doesn't know the depth that's down there and some of the tendencies of the young pitchers. Anyway, whatever he did, it worked because it was a slide step and a perfect pitch on the outside corner.
Well, before the ball game, Marcel Latchman was working with Jarrod to keep the ball down. He said he knew he'd have a lot of energy early in the game and might be overthrowing, and the ball would rise. So he wanted him to use that 2-seamer and sink it. He keeps it low and inside. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Jeff King.
That time a high leg kick, and it had Offerman going back to first base.
We told you that Jarrod is from a small town in Webster, Wisconsin. Population is 623. He chose a college like that as well, going to Division III Wisconsin Oshkosh. And with Washburn at the controls, they won the national championship in 1994. So he has been in pressure situations before. Well, they've got him picked off. How about that? Oh, and the ball gets away from Bachman, backed up by DiSarcina. And that is a shame because Jarrod with a nice pickoff of Jose Offerman.
Offer was moving on at first look from Washburn. This time he looked toward home plate, had Offerman completely fooled, but he got 3 or 4 steps, and fielder couldn't get himself a good throwing position to deliver this throw to second base. And it gets between the runner and the bag and past Bachman, but DiSarcina is there to back it up. It'll be a stolen base for Offerman.
But Jerry, did Bachman not angle himself that well against Jose Offerman?
Bachman was fine because his job is to get to the bag and get the throw. For Cecil, if you have time, you try to get the best angle you can, and you do that by taking a couple of steps. But because Offerman had such a good lead, you got to unload that ball as quickly as possible and get it to the second baseman so he can get in position to make the tag.
Offerman goes, the throw to third, not in time, and Offerman with steals of second and third in this 3rd inning.
Fastball inside. Washburn gets the call. King can't pull the trigger, but Offerman's off with the pitch. It's the element of the surprise, Steve. 1, 2, 3 steps. He's off and going. One quick look over his shoulder just to see where the throw is or where the catcher is in position to make that throw, and he steals a pair in the 3rd inning. So the tying run just 90 feet away with 2 men out.
And Dean Palmer comes to the plate. Last time up, he skied one to right field with a man at second base. Garrett Anderson made the catch up against the wall in deep right as that wind is blowing from left to right. 8 miles an hour here at Kauffman Stadium, and that ball well struck to deep center field. Edmonds back to the wall. He's got it. And Washburn with a big sigh of relief and says thank you to Jim Edmonds as he holds his 2-1 lead going to the fourth.
Tonight on Prime 9 News.
Complete team coverage of all today's California primary results with live reports throughout the night. Plus, Monica Lewinsky's top attorney is out. What led to the legal shakeup?
Prime 9 News tonight after the game. LA's fastest growing station is also LA's most critically acclaimed, winning more Emmy Awards than any other local station. KCAL 9, Los Angeles.
Send your packages in 2 days with FedEx to lots of different places. You get lots of different prices.
Send your packages in 2 days with UPS to lots of different places. You get lots of different prices.
Send your packages in 2 to 3 days with Priority Mail to lots of different places. You get the same price. You know, $3.
So, what's your priority? Priority Mail from the U.S. Postal Service.
Gold Bond foot powder is refreshing. It keeps my feet dry all day long.
Triple Action Gold Bond medicated foot powder absorbs moisture, controls odor with baking soda, and stops foot itch.
I love Gold Bond foot powder.
Gold Bond foot powder. 3 foot relievers in 1.
Hey, I know about tough pain. Boss calls and says, you gotta come in. I said, hey, my back's killing me. He says, try Flexol. Flexol is clinically proven to relieve tough pain. And I say, so I get overtime. You have a pain in the butt. Yeah, try Flexol. No pain's too tough for Flexol.